Hello and welcome my dear students. I am Rohan sir from Mahdi English Medium School. I welcome my all dear 3rd standard little champs to today's science class. My dear little champs, I welcome you once again in science class, and I also hope at the same time that you have watched my previous lecture of science where we have started chapter number 5, solid, liquid and gases. So my dear students, why am I asking you that you must have watched or not? You might have watched or not, because you must watch the previous lecture in order to stay connected with the present lecture. This is what I have always told you. It's okay if in the previous lectures of theory, if you have not watched for some reasons, because theory you can cover. But if the new chapter has started, you have to stay connected with the explanation part, because the lectures are connected in the way that if one day if I explain you solid and liquid, another day if I explain you gases, then you have to get that link properly. So in the order to stay tuned, you have to watch each and every lecture so that you can understand the concept properly. And I hope students that you also have taken out your books. Like in all the lecture, I have told you to keep the science textbook as well as the rough notebook along with you, so that in case if I ask you to note down something, you have to note it down though it is there in your textbook. Okay, so get ready with your books and let's see what are the objectives of today's lecture. So what are the objectives? Revision of the previous lecture. As I just started the new chapter, I'll show you each and every page of the previous lecture so as to recollect the things which we have done, the things which you have understood in the previous lecture, so that you don't get lost somewhere in today's lecture. And then what is gases, which was left in the previous lecture, I'll explain you that too. And then change of the form, how the water form changes and what are the change of forms. And then also the thing which I have not mentioned is keywords, that you must note it down at last at the end of the lecture whenever I ask you to do so. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see first what have we done in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture I showed you these kind of photos. I asked you what is this, and further I asked you to note it down in your book that what is this according to you. After showing you all these 3 photos, then I showed you the 3 photos together and I explained you what is this. Like these are all the form of water. One is ice, one is water itself, its original form, and the third was gas. So these all are the form of water only, states of matter only. Okay, and then I explained you what is solid and liquid. Further, even I asked you to note down few points from these paragraphs of solid and liquids respectively, and I hope that you have kept that note along with you. And then I explained you solid basics, showing you few photos of chair, mountains and skeleton. Okay, and then I explained you what is solid mixture, correct, which is made from more than one type of compound. It is solid mixture, and I even asked you to note it down in your books so that you will be having that note. Then I explained you few physical properties of solid and few facts about it. Then at last I asked you to note down the points of difference between the solids and liquid, which if you keep in your mind, it will be very much of useful, helpful to you. And I hope that 99.9% of you have written this, because you all are very obedient students. So anyways, if you have noted it down, that's it. This is what we have done for the previous lecture. Okay, now let's see what are we going to do in this lecture. We are going to understand what is gases. Be ready with the pencil in your hand and the book on your lap. or on the table, wherever you are sitting, to understand the lecture. Okay, so let me just read it first. A thing that has no shape or size of its own is called a gas. Water vapor is a gas, and most gases cannot be seen. That is, we can say abstract noun. Gases are all around us. Air is a mixture of many gases. Air moves from one place to another. So, moving air is called wind. You say it's breezy wind, it's hot wind, it depends on the climate. But moving air, in short, is called wind. We breathe in the air that contains a gas called oxygen. Now, this is very common sense. We all know that humans breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, which is again trees breathe in carbon dioxide and makes their food, and that process is called photosynthesis. We are not going to go in deep into that. Anyways, now all living things need oxygen to live. Yes, that is what you know. If oxygen is less in your body, nowadays we consider them as a COVID-19 case, corona case, but otherwise if oxygen is less in your body, you will not be able to breathe properly. Either you are asthma patient or you have any other lungs diseases, then the oxygen amount will be less in your body. Correct? So, I hope that you know what is oxygen. Correct? So, like liquid, gases can also flow. See, solids cannot flow, but like liquid, gases can also flow. Okay, flow means freely move here and there. That is called to flow, which solids can't. Unless you don't throw solid, it will not change its place, or unless there is some kind of force with solid. Okay, so now the things you have to repeat after me from this paragraph and to write it down is, first, you have to note down the first line itself. You have to repeat after me 2 times and you have to write it down 1 time in your rough notebook. So please be quick while you are writing and repeat after me. A thing that has no shape or size of its own is called a gas. I hope students you are repeating after me loudly and you are writing as well. Again repeat it 2nd time, and you have to also finish writing within this. A thing that has no shape or size of its own is called a gas. Okay, now write this point, the 2nd paragraph, 2nd sentence. Air is, please repeat after me 2 times and write it down in your book. Air is a mixture of many gases. Okay, please repeat it 2nd time, and I hope that you have written this. Air is a mixture of many gases. See students, it is very much important for you to write it down, because you have to send the photo of written work of the lectures to your follow-up teachers. Also please write this bracket, you have to write it down in the new line. Moving air is called wind. Okay, I'll repeat it 2 more times and you have to repeat after me as well as write it once. Moving air is called wind. Let us repeat it one last time. moving air is called wind. Okay, and this last line, like liquids, please write it down and repeat after me. See, these are very important points. Like liquids, gases can also flow. Okay, I'll repeat it one more time. I hope meanwhile you are writing. Like liquids, gases can also flow. Okay, see, if you can see this boy standing in the photo, and it is written in the tag here that we breathe in the air, which is a mixture of many gases, but we only breathe in the oxygen. See, that is the human body intelligence. We don't have to we don't have to put the efforts for separating carbon dioxide and other gases and oxygen. That is what our body does on its own, correct? So this is how the human body acts. So I hope this point is very much clear to you all. Now these are the phases of matter. You see, solid, how it is tightly holded at its place. It does not takes the shape of container. Okay, and liquid, if you see, if you pour the liquid inside, it will take the shape of container. It depends on how much liquid do you pour inside. And gases, it flows all over the container. When you pack the container from the top, it will flow inside. It will not remain at one place. Okay, so these are the three photos which clearly depicts solid, liquid and gases. Now students, what do you have to do is, like you wrote the difference between solid and liquid, these points are also to be noted. See, you can write solid, liquid and gas on the one page as it is written here on the screen. You want to draw the lines, it's your lookout, but you have to write these two points for solid, liquid and gas now in your book. So I'll give you few seconds to give the heading solid, liquid and gas. Okay, many of the students might have already written this. Okay, please write down the heading solid, liquid and gas like this. Okay, keep some space so you can write the points under the heading you have given solid, liquid and gas. Okay, by now you should have given the heading. Now I'll read the point. You have to also read the point and you have to write it down as well. Now first let us just write solid 2 points. Solid, point 1, holds shape. Point 1, holds shape. That means it holds its shape. It does not flow in the container in which you put, whether you put it into the big box, you put it into the bowl, wherever you put, it will be as it is. So holds shape. Then second point of solid is fixed volume. Means it does not change the volume according to its container. Okay, its volume remains as it is. Okay, now let us jump on to the liquid. Write point number 1. Shape of container. Point number 1 in liquid is, I hope that you are repeating students and you are writing it. Shape of container. Okay, point number 2 is free surface. Point number 2 is free surface, means if you see, as per its surface it will move freely, it will flow freely as per the shape of surface. Okay, point number 2 was free surface. I hope that you written that. Now point number 3 in liquid is fixed volume. Okay, here also the volume will be fixed. It will not flow here and there on the top. If you have poured this much of water, the volume will remain fixed. Okay, fixed volume is the third point. Okay, now gas. The first point in the gas is shape of container. I hope that you are writing, students. Please write it clearly with legible writing so that when you send the photo to the follow-up teachers, they will be able to read each and every point. We will be able to notice, and it is very much important for you to write down each and every point, because we are going to display the name of the students who are regularly sending the homework and the lessons, whatever they are doing online. So we are going to display the name on the TV screens before each and every lecture. That will be weekly once in 1 week. Okay, so it is very much necessary for you to note down the points very perfectly so that we can bifurcate the names. Okay, the first point was shape of container, means it will take the shape of container. It will flow all over the container, correct? And here volume of container, here there is no fixed volume, it will take the volume of container, you see, all over the container. So whatever the volume of container is will be the volume of this gas. Okay, so the second point was volume of container. So I hope that you have noted down this and you were repeating after me. See, these points are very easy and you can even write when the difference is asked, correct? It is not necessary for you to draw the diagram. See, even if you want to draw the diagram, this diagram is very easy. If you want to draw the solid, you can just draw the square and you can just label it as solid. Want to draw the water, you can draw something like wave, blue waves, and you can just label it as water. And if you want to draw the gas, you can draw like dot dot dot, it is here, these dots, and then you can label it as gas. So all it depends on your presentation. Okay, now moving on to the exercise. There is a small exercise I have brought for you. Put the following words in the correct box. See, now you have to draw, you have to just write solid, then keep some distance, then write liquid, again keep some distance, and then write gas. Now just don't write all these words, just you have to write solid, liquid and gas. Okay, even if you have wrote that difference and even the space is there on that page itself, you can write on that page, it is okay, no need to waste another page. But solid, liquid and gas, you have to keep this distance because you are going to bifurcate these words, differentiate this word. Okay, so ball. So ball is liquid? No. Just imagine the ball with which you play bat and ball, cricket. Can we say it is a gas? No, it is not gas. Then it is solid, because the ball, it doesn't change its shape unless you puncture it or you somehow, if the ball is of sponge, you tear it. It is solid, correct? So ball, you have to write it into solid category. So under this solid column, you have to write here ball, number 1, ball. See, we are not going to solve all these words, but few to get some idea. Okay, now if I say ink, see, look at the screen, ink, I-N-K, ink. Can we say it is solid? No, ink flows, correct? Sometimes from your ball pen also, if you use ball pen at your home, ink flows out sometimes. So ink is not solid. So nor can we say ink is a gas. It doesn't evaporate in the air. It is a kind of liquid, though it is not a pure liquid, but ink is a kind of liquid. So you have to write it here under the liquid column. Okay. Now here, air in a ball. Now football, volleyball, basketball, these all you play, correct? So there is air inside the ball, isn't it so? Okay, so that air, can you say it is solid? No. Though the ball is solid, air inside is not solid. Neither it is solid nor it is liquid, correct? Liquid is definitely not there. Inside the ball you can't feel liquid. So it is obviously a kind of gas, correct? So air in the ball will come in this category. So you have to write air in a ball under the heading of gas. Okay. Now one more we will solve, and then we will just move on to the another topic. Now if you say milk, I hope that many of you might be having the habit of having the milk with turmeric at night. Sometimes it is very much healthy for you, beneficial for you. So anyways, milk. So you are able to drink the milk. So obviously it is not solid. You don't have to chew the milk. Neither can you say that it is a gas, correct? If it was a gas, you will not be able to drink. So if you are able to drink it, it is obviously liquid. So again, milk will fall in this category, liquid. Okay. So I hope that you have written these answers in the way I wanted, and I hope that you enjoyed solving this exercise. Now let us move on to change of form. Now let me just read it out. Water freezes to form ice. Ice melts to form water. When water is heated longer, it begins to boil, and steam rises up from boiling water. So steam in the water is a gas form. The change of the water into steam on heating is called boiling. I repeat, the change of water into steam on heating is called boiling, correct? So you see, steam condenses to form water. Steam condenses to form water. The diagram is given how you boil the water. Sometimes, see, especially during these hard times, doctor always gives the suggestion of drinking the boil or a kind of hot water. So you might have seen your mom or your grandmother boiling the water like this in the pan or in any container. Is that it so? Okay. So I want you to write down the last line. Please write down the last line, and you also have to repeat after me. Write it down quickly because I am going to only repeat it twice. The change of water into steam on heating is called boiling. Underline the word boiling. Let us repeat it one more time. The change of water into steam on heating is called boiling. Clear enough? I hope that you all have written, and please don't forget to underline the word boiling, because boiling here the definition is given. Okay? So water freezes to form the ice means what? When you keep the tray or container of water into the deep freeze, into the freezer of your refrigerator, then it freezes, correct, and it forms the ice like this. Okay, but ice melts to form the water means what? If you keep the ice in the hot place, into the hot climate, then or you can say in the room temperature, then if you can see that ice again converts into the water, so it melts. If the ice converts into the water, it is called melting, correct? In the diagram it is clearly shown. But when you keep the water on cooling, in freezing, so on cooling it forms ice. So give and take is there, correct? So now if you heat the water, it is called boiling. So it will generate steam. Okay? So if you hold a lid or a plate above boiling water, the steam touches the lid. The steam then cools down and changes into the tiny water droplets. This is called condensation. Steam condenses to form water. So the three forms of water, solid, liquid and gases, can change from one form to another. This is called change of forms. Now again I shall repeat it to you. See, when you hold this lead, if you can see in the photo, this is called lead. The thing which you cover the container with. This is the lead. You can cover boiling water with it. Okay. So when you pick up the lead, you can see that the boiling water, it forms the water droplet here on the lead. That is the small drop of water. Correct? So this is called condensation. When again water cools down, when again the heating water cools down and that vapor again forms the water droplet, that is called condensation. I repeat, when you form the heat, when you form the steam by heating the water and that steam again converts it into the water droplets, it is called condensation. In short, ice, when it melts, when it converts into the water, it is called melting. Again, when you keep the water into the freeze, it is called freezing and it forms the ice. This was ice to water and water to ice change. Now if you heat the water, it is called boiling of water and it will form steam. It will form steam, means gas. You might have seen steam. Okay. Now again, if you see that when the steam, it is cooled down, on cooling it, if you rise this lead, you can see the water droplets. So that is called condensation. So there are basically three forms of water. Solid. So students, these were the three forms of water. And yes, now you have to write down one thing from this definition of condensation. Please write it down and speak along with me aloud. The steam, I hope that you are writing it, students. The steam then cools down and changes into tiny water droplets. Then put comma, then write, this is called condensation. Okay, I'll repeat it one more time. The steam then cools down and changes into tiny water droplets. This is called condensation. I hope, students, that you are repeating after me and you already have written now by the time I read it 2 times. So students, now I end my today's lecture within the time limit, and in the next lecture we are going to see the keywords. Also we are going to discuss few hard words and few theory part of this lesson. So in the next lecture especially, be ready with your books, because those keywords I will ask you to write it down. Also I'll give you few objectives of this lesson, which also you have to write it down from this lecture only. Obviously I will give you the time, I will speak it slowly. You also have to repeat and speak as you did in today's lecture. This way your listening skills and your writing skills will enhance. In beginning it will feel a bit hard for few students, not for all, but then at the end eventually you will learn something. So I hope you enjoyed today's lecture, in which we learned about the gas and how the change of the form happens with the water. So I hope that you have written each and everything, and you will send the things which you have written to the follow-up teachers, based on which we are going to judge the best student of the week. At every week I will display your name on the presentation so that each and every student will be able to see your photo. Now it depends on you how good work and hard work you are doing. If you want to see your name on the TV screen, then you must do hard work, because without doing hard work you are not going to get anything. Okay, so I hope for the best. Till then, goodbye, take care.